All right, guys. Good morning, everyone, once again, and thank you for making time to join this session of the webinar today. And so I'm going to be introducing the guest speaker for today. And today we'll be looking at sustaining fleet efficiency for growth and vessel dry docking. So this time we're going to introduce the guest speaker for today in the person of Mrs. Koni Dunia. Mrs. Koni joined Man Oron in 2002 and obtained a national diploma in boat building and shipping technology. She joined Nigeria LNG as deck cadet in 2005, trained at the Glasgow College of Nautical Studies and obtained a HND and OOW Unlimited deck in 2009, sailed on board as a deck officer until 2014, and went on to obtain a Chief Officer Unlimited from the UK and a degree in maritime studies from University of Portsmouth in the UK. I hope everybody is hearing me. If you can hear me, just wave your hands. Okay, good. Right. So, Mrs. Koni left sea in 2014 and joined Nigeria LNG Shipping Division as Assistant Fleet Administrator, then moved to ship chartering in 2020, obtained a master's degree in energy economics, management and policy from the Emerald Energy Institute University of Port Harcourt. Currently a student member of the Chartered Institute of Shipbrokers. In 2019, she founded the Female Seafarers Association of Nigeria, a mentoring, support, and advocacy group for Nigerian female seafarers. She is currently moving to shipping regulatory and compliance in Nigeria LNG. She's hoping to working with Amano to help build the maritime industry and harness its full potentials. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to you, Officer and Mrs. Koni Dunia is one of us. I'll share my screen in a minute.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Morris, for the introduction. Sometimes hearing you talk just is overwhelming, and you just say, "Oh wow, we've come this far from the early days." So thank you very much for that. And for today, we're going to be talking about sustaining fleet efficiency for growth. And we're picking dry docking as a key activity for that. So we're just going to go into why we dry dock vessels and the benefits for dry docking vessels and all of that. Well, in addition to, you can see that the slide is notably purple. And this is because we are in the Women's Month, which is March, and 8th of March is the International Women's Day. So it's not a color you're used to, but please just bear with me and just join us in solidarity as we celebrate women all over the world, and especially women in the maritime sector. So this slide was prepared for non-seafarers, so we tried to break it down as much as possible, but I thought it's a good one to also share here and just get us to talk about our general knowledge on this topic and how it affects our country, Nigeria. Can we go to the next slide, please? So like I said earlier, this was for non-seafarers. So just the introduction to just bring everybody into it. Lovely colors and pictures in this slide are really trying to introduce the concept of what a vessel is. And here we say the vessel is any watercraft capable of being used to transport goods, services, people through the waterways. We have various pictures here. You have the wooden boats. They're not left out. They're still part of the industry, even though we really don't take account of them. You see a big ro-ro passenger vessel here. You see another vessel carrier. These are the submersible ones. A big passenger vessel, container, tanker, and yeah, in the middle there is an LNG ship. And okay, at the bottom there's also a tug. So vessel really, the categories are wide range, and for some of us in Nigeria, I think there are just some that we're used to seeing or we're used to. But the larger majority of crafts is really wide and cannot all be accommodated on this slide. Next slide, please. Okay, so the maritime industry has evolved greatly over centuries to become a highly developed field of rapid technological growth. And indeed, you can see, and that's why we were very intentional with these pictures. So the first one there says archaeological findings show that water transport has been in existence dating back 6,000 BC, as proven by evidence of the Dogot canoes. That's it there, really just carved out of wood, and then removed on. This form of transportation has greatly facilitated world trade, migration flows, being a reliable and performance. Construction materials. Construction materials range from wood, reeds, concrete, iron, and steel to means of propulsion such as paddle, or sails, steamers, coal-fired steam turbines, oil-fired steam turbines, diesel internal engines. Now we have the DFDE, TFDEs, MEGIs, and all sorts. So I like how we arranged the pictures there. You see the carved out canoe, and then we went on to the oars, and then the sails, and then the coal turbine engines there. And now on this side, we have a fully automated engine room, and you see the beautiful ladies there. Again, permit me, it's International Women's Day month. So you have beautiful ladies there. They were both engineers together on the ship. So that's just to show you how we've progressed. I mean, if you look at the picture just next to that, where they're using coal fire and steam engines, you can imagine how strenuous it's going to be for women in the engine room. But now things have really progressed as a result of technology and a bit more accommodating now. Next slide, please. So shipping is a highly regulated industry with a plethora of regulations guiding the maintenance, survey, and dry docking of vessels. And the International Maritime Organization is a United Nations specialized agency with a responsibility for safety and security of shipping and prevention of wow. Sorry, please, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, somebody said you can't hear. Okay.
Yes, so, I can.
Okay. Okay, so a few of these regulations are also applicable to dry docking, and they are listed below. So you have the SOLAS Convention. It has its own part that has a requirement for dry docking. You have the MARPOL Convention. You have the load line conventions, the anti-fouling convention, and because this was mostly for the LNG population, and then we also added the international gas carrier code. So I imagine for other vessels, they will have their own code. So again, you can imagine all of this. All of these conventions, they all have different elements and requirements for dry docking, and it can really be difficult managing it. So as a result, the IMO adopted a harmonized survey systems for ships in order to alleviate the problems caused by survey dates and intervals of surveys as prescribed in the above regulatory instruments. So the harmonized system of survey basically takes all the elements of all these different codes and conventions and created a kind of uniform system whereby you go to dry dock and all the requirements are being accommodated for. So it also takes a lot of planning on the side of the ship's crew, ship managers as well. The conventions have compliance and enforcement built in to ensure all ship owners comply in order to maintain safety of life, environment, and asset. The compliance is checked via regimes of surveys, audits, and certification, e.g. port state inspections, flag state inspections, which is flag state is conducted by internationally accredited classification society. Next slide, please. And if I take us back to some of the sections we had here, and when we're talking about NIMASA being a class, a flag state for vessels and vessels' ability to be flagged by Nigeria, I think the issue of surveys really came on strong in that session. So vessel maintenance and refit activities are governed by a comprehensive and harmonized survey systems and framework. There is a standard interval of 1 year between harmonized surveys for ships, which could be based on any of the following. So we have the initial survey, a complete inspection of all the items concerning the particular certificate before a new built ship is put into service to make sure they possess satisfactory condition and are capable of carrying out the services for which the ship is intended. I think I see one of my colleagues here, Ime. I think it was last year or the year before last, he was involved in taking on a new ship. So hopefully during the comment section, you will chip in just to help elaborate on this. Then periodic survey is an official examination of the items relating to the particular certificates to ensure that they meet the requirements and fit for the intended services. The renewal surveys, similar to the periodic surveys, but results in issuing a new certificate. Then intermediate survey is an inspection of specific items at required intervals. Then annual surveys, general review of the items concerned to the particular certificates to ascertain that they have they have been observed, maintained, and remain fit for service. So like I think in annual surveys, you have things like your life-saving and firefighting appliances on board. So a lot of those kind of ones will fall under the annual surveys category. Next slide, please. Okay, so vessel maintenance and refit activities are governed by a comprehensive and harmonized system of survey. So again, just carrying on from the last slide, this harmonized system of survey, just elaborating on it also. There is a maximum period of validity for 5 years for all cargo ship certificates, i.e. all cargo ships must undergo special survey as dry docking at least once in every 5 years to maintain validity of operating certificates. This is a mandatory and statutory requirement. Extensions may be granted for cargo ship certificates on harmonized survey systems for ships on long voyages. However, this is purely at the discretion of class and flag state and will not be granted for commercial reasons when the duration of a particular certificate is extended at the period of validity or the new certificate begins. Okay, the period of validity of a new certificate begins from the expiry date of the last certificate issued. And I think last year was quite a peculiar one. All this came into play when dry docks were closed and ships couldn't go into dry dock. So again, the class, the flag states, and the industry at large appreciated the issues. Everybody came together and solutions were proffered, i.e. delay in dry docking. And as soon as the dry docks started opening, ships started going into dry dock. So this was clearly like an exceptional circumstance whereby the actual requirement of dry docking was not met. So at least 2 survey inspections are required to be executed of the ship's bottom within a 5-year period. Maximum interval between the inspections has also been set at not more than 36 months, i.e. 3 years. So in the practical sense, the 2 surveys, you have one, in these 5 years, you have one which is done in water. So it's just having divers go around, check the condition of the hull of the vessel and do all their inspections, while the second one has to be out of water. And then if you remember back, one of the regulations there is for anti-fouling. So you really have to go in, scrape the ship's hull and repaint it or have a new coating on it. And that's why the first picture on the slide, the opening slide, had that the hull of the vessel, that you could see that it's maintenance at work. And next slide, please. And also when you're out of water, some other repairs, retrofitting and maintenance will also be carried out at that time. Yeah, so dry docking is carried out at specialized shipyards, which are dedicated areas for refit and maintenance of vessels. A dry dock is a structured area wherein construction, repairs, and maintenance of merchant vessels and boats are carried out. This unique construction or arrangement allows the water to be filled up in an area, also known as the lock, so that the vessel can be maneuvered in and out of the areas. So the picture up to the left there, I just got it off the internet, interestingly, and it had a headline of 5 billion or 53 billion naira Masa dry floating dock or whatever. So it's a floating dock, but again, it's just good to know that it is in Nigeria, but the question is it functioning? What is the status? But definitely they're complaining about money being lost just by having that docks seated here in Nigeria. And then the second one to the bottom, that is a typical lock. And then the one to the right-hand corner there, beneath the text. So that's a vessel proper sitting on the blocks in dock. That's when a vessel is taken out of water. Next slide, please. So dry docks around the world, just again to depict really, if you think about this very high cost activity, the positioning of it, and I always like to link everything to economy. And when they were talking about African economy, so for this kind of very high cost service that is being rendered by all the other countries, you can see clearly how invisible we are. I mean, in terms of Africa, you can see how less visible we are. But then you look at Europe there, they're all up there. And then Asia as well, you have the Japanese, Koreans, Chinese, even India is not left out in this. So you wonder, okay, is the dry docking technology so difficult for Africa, or what really is our story? And I think the most amazing thing for me is that most of the docks that our vessels usually visit in Spain and I think even in France, they're all like naval dry docks. So they are for the Navy of their country. But at the same time, they're bringing in so much money into the country. Because when you go to the dry docks, you see their naval ships and everything. So full naval dock, but then still open for commercial services. And this is because the facility is there and it's functional. And it has been there for years unknown. Next, please. Okay, so I like the picture here, and this is typical LNG tank. This is what it looks like inside, and I remember those days that used to be like the highlight of going into dry docks, just going into the tanks. It's always amazing to see. So dry docking is critical for the safe and efficient operation of vessels. So conduct of immediate or renewal of surveys / audits, e.g. the outer bottom surveys as required by SOLAS Regulation 10, hull structure surveys, boiler surveys, IOPP SEC, in line with the harmonized systems of surveys and certificates, undertake major repairs which could breach the watertight integrity of ships if done at sea, e.g. working in the engine room seawater intake line, carry out any retrofitting of new equipment or systems, either to meet statutory requirements or to improve performance, e.g. installation of water ballast treatment tank plants, bunker tanks modification, again with a couple of the regulations these days are having people need to go into dry dock and carry out some retrofitting for vessels to comply with some of these regulations. And the good thing about the regulations, it gives ample of time so that all vessels can prepare adequately. Cosmetic maintenance of the hull and propeller cleaning and painting, leading to improved speed, performance, and fuel efficiency. Routine checks and maintenance, recalibration and recertification of critical equipment, including safety equipment in line with mandatory survey requirements. Carry out life extension repairs, e.g. condition assessment program for aging ships. Next slide, please. Okay, benefits of regular dry docking, even though we've, from the last text, you could just see some of the benefits, but again, furthermore, maintain seaworthiness of the vessel in terms of surveys and certificates. The vessel will lose class status and certificates if regular dry docking is not carried out and will therefore be unable to lawfully trade. And I think it's also noteworthy that for post-state inspections, you also have vessels being detained, and definitely that's very, very bad for business. Extend the lifespan of the steel part of the vessel, e.g. the hull and superstructure. So again, regular maintenance and prevention of rust. Fighting if rust where you have oxygen, water, and the air, the water, and metal mixing together. Definitely, the upkeep has to be top notch. And we've all been on the vessel. Rust is a big enemy on the vessel, and every day people on deck just chipping away. All they're literally doing is just fighting the rust. So definitely adequate maintenance would extend the lifespan of the vessel. Critical repairs of ship equipment and systems to avoid breakdown during operations. Compliance with new regulations in the shipping industry. For example, Ballast Water Management Convention, just again referring to this because it's just still being enforced and ships are still being retrofitted to meet with this requirement. IMO global sulfur regulations. So with this one, we've seen people going to retrofit to put scrubbers just so they meet with the low sulfur regulations. Improved ship speed due to smoother hull and serviced equipment. Vessel will experience improved speed performance after dry docking. And this is also now becoming critical for the decarbonization of shipping, because again, the ship's hull is also plays a great deal in the fuel consumption and speed performance of the vessel. So as part of the rollout or activities for implementation of the decarbonization, people are really looking at the ship's hull more critically, looking at the frequency for hull cleaning, that's like in-water hull cleaning, propeller polishing, and people are now going, looking at also the paints for the coating, which ones are going to be more durable and all of that. So it's all hands on deck right now, and this research, this testing and all of that is happening all in that space, and that makes dry docking a critical and an important activity in all of that. Commercial assurance to charterers, cargo buyers, terminals, etc. Through successful inspections of SIRE status. So SIRE is for the Oil Companies Maritime Forum. This is their own kind of inspection, and I think it's done twice a year, 6-monthly interval. So having a good SIRE status makes you tradable in the oil and gas market. So it's like an extra layer of assurance really for commercial activities. And then hold survey for bulk carriers. Vessels which have not undergone dry docking will be rejected for reputable international trade. I'm not sure if I've ever heard of any incidents, but I think for any serious ship owner or manager or charterer or whatever, if you're in the business of shipping, you don't even want to try it. You don't even want to know what will happen. So if you have the ship, you really want it to trade, then dry docking is a very, very critical activity. Next slide, please. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much for listening. Over to you, Dr. Morris. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Connie, for that wonderful presentation. Yeah, it's a very it's something that I've really learned a lot, and I believe that other people are the people in this session, in this webinar today have also picked one or two things, and so this time we're gonna go on the time for this Q&A session, and I will not know if Bagai is there online. Bagai, if you are there, please can you handle this session for us?
Okay. Good afternoon, all. Okay, I'm taking the question and answer session. It's been a wonderful presentation. Thank you, Connie Dunia, taking on sustaining fleet efficiency for growth versus dry docking. So if anybody has a question, you just please raise your hand up on the chat room, and then we'll pick you based on your order of raising your hands. Then you ask your question. Thank you. The house is quiet. Does anybody has a question? Raise your hand, please.
Okay, I can see some hands up. I can see Sunday and Dede. Hands is up. Let me check others. So,
I can't see from my side.
just I will tell you those people that their hands are up. I can see Sunday Dede hand is up, so you can just put it down. Mention the names. And for now, it's just only Sunday.
Okay, Sunday, please carry on with your question.
Okay, I want to ask if a vessel is due for dry docking, for how long can a waiver be given? Let's say it's due for dry docking by January. Can she be given a waiver for, let's say, 3 months, 6 months before it can go for dry docking?
Okay, that is a very good question. Connie, are you online?
So the regulation, I think somewhere in the slide for harmonized system of service stated there, it's so if say the last dry docking was on the 20th of January for the year preceding, you have 3 months before the 20th of January and then 3 months after. And the best advice is you plan for 3 months before the anniversary date, so that for whatever unknown circumstance you fall behind, you either land on that date or within the immediate window after that date, but then not later than 3 months after the anniversary date. However, I made reference to 2020, which was a huge deviation from what we all know. And you find out that because the dry docks were short, the class and flag states were given considerable extensions, to the extent that when the dry docks opened up, again, it was almost a first come, first serve situation. All ship owners were scrambling for spaces in the dry docks. Well, eventually, things are picking up now and ships are going into dry dock. So apart from 2020, it's 3 months before and after the anniversary date of the last dry dock carried out.
Okay, thank you for that response. Sunday, I hope your question is well answered.
Yes, my question is well answered. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. If
There's another hands here, Ola Olabi.
Ola Alabi. Ola Alabi, please, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Dunia, thank you so much for your presentation. It was a good one. Yeah, in addition to what your response to Sunday's question, there are some vessels, particularly new vessels, the flag state and the class. They give some 7 years for dry docking for new vessels. And with respect to the time in between for a vessel or a class to give a window for an old vessel, depending on the age of that vessel, if it's an old vessel, it takes an immediate survey. If not, it will not be accepted. It depends on the duration, on the age of that vessel. That's what the class and the flag state take into consideration. Like I earlier said, for new vessels, some class society and flag state, they harmonize it to 7 years instead of 5 years. Then my question now is, the SAR, what does SAR mean? And how effective is it in our industry? And how far is NIMASA, what are they putting in place to ensure vessels are in compliance with it?
Okay, you can bring your hand down.
So SIRE inspection, like I said, it's an inspection regime for OCIMF, and OCIMF is Oil Companies Marine Forum. So that is more like a private arrangement. And in this case, NIMASA, I don't think has any influence or business in it. No government really has any oversight function in this SIRE. SIRE is a ship inspection reporting program. So what happens is within the oil majors, they started it. You have the Shell, Chevron, Mobil, Texaco. I know NLNG, we are also part of it. So it's mainly for oil companies. And what they do is have people train as inspectors. So we have dedicated SIRE inspectors, and these inspectors are the ones that carry out these inspections, and they upload the inspection reports in a central database for OCIMF. So take for instance, an LNG ship is coming to our port. First thing, the people that do our terminal assurance, the first thing they will ask for is your SIRE inspection. Because the oil majors have built a trust system around this inspection, it is very, very reliable for them. And that's why I said it's almost like a commercial thing. So they ask for SIRE inspection, clear the SIRE inspection before you even start looking at compatibility and all of those kind of things. Likewise for us, say for example, we're going to bunker our vessel. For the bunker vessel, the first and most important thing is the bunker vessel's SIRE inspection result. And it's out there, so you go log in, put in the vessel's name and maybe IMO number, and then look at the last inspection. And then it's a 6-monthly regime. You see that that's why it's done frequently. So if you have a SIRE that is out of date, it might not automatically take you out of trade. Say, for example, when we have regular terminals that we visit. But for somebody that wants to do new business with you, if your SIRE is out of date, it's a no-go area because they don't have that assurance to trust the quality and standards of your vessel. So it's very, very independent of any authority. However, the port state inspection, I believe Captain Warren will talk more on that maybe later on. So port state inspection, I believe, is the one that is within the purviews of NIMASA, I hope. I hope this answers your question.
Thank you for your answer. Alabi, hope your question has been duly answered.
Yes, okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for thanking us. Okay, do we still have any other person with a question or somebody want to make additional comment on the subject being discussed? Okay, I think if in the absence of any, I assume we do not have further questions and comments. I therefore want to thank our facilitator of today, Connie Dunia. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and experience with us. I hand you over back to Dr. Maurice Asuko. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Joel Bakai, for that session. And thank you, Kuni, for answering all the questions I was asked. So if there's no other things, so we can go. The next item on our agenda is supposed to be Amano President's remarks. So I'm not sure if President is here with us, but if he's not there, is there anybody from NEC, any representative from NEC that can give us any information? Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody from there. I know they've been very busy these few days. Yesterday, last night, the president was in a meeting, in emergency meeting with some members of the UK chapter till late in the night. And this morning, I know they have they had swearing in of the Plateau chapter. So I can see that they might be exhausted with the NEC people. So that's why you can find some of them here today. So we give them that benefit of doubt. Okay. Right. So in the absence of any other thing, okay. If anybody wants to make any comments or anything, I think I'll just give like maybe 1 minute and see if anybody wants to make any comments. Otherwise, then we are rightly on time to end this session. Okay. Right. So I can see, I think there's nobody there's no comment from any side. So I want to thank everybody for joining the session today, and it's been a remarkable attendance, though a little bit short of what we had in the last session. Last session we had 34 attendance, and today the highest I had today was 26. Though two people have dropped off. So I thank you guys for joining, and I believe that you've learned 1 or 2 things today. We have the slide for this presentation, and if you're in any way wants to request for the slides, please just feel free to do so. We're also working on putting all the presentation in the YouTube channel. Our IT experts are busy getting that ready. So in a short while, you'll be seeing all the presentation in Amano YouTube channel. So thank you very much. Thank you, Connie, for putting yourself up to give out this presentation at a short time when we did not have any presenter for today. And so we have our next workshop on the 20th. That date is supposed to be our industry engagement. So in the absence of the industry engagement, we will have our normal workshop. So the teaching support team will inform you guys as the days draws near. So thank you very much once again, and have a very pleasant weekend.